Greetings, user. Neural link established. Ready for takeoff.
Welcome everyone to the Osu Taiko World Cup 2021. I'm Bath and I'm joined by Mango Miser. And wait, was that Mocha? Well, never mind. We're going through drawings and the Mappool Showcase. How's it going, Mango?
I'm doing pretty good. It's my 5th year here in a row now, so long-standing tenure here, but TWC's my home, I suppose. It's good to be back for another year of exciting tournaments.
It always comes down to TWC, first World Cup of the year, and a really exciting one. Drawings won't fail. We have 32 teams this year, and some of them looking really promising, actually. We'll start over with the unseeded teams as we review them one by one. Not sure if I should cover them right now, but we have Turkey, Chile, Colombia, Costa Rica, Switzerland, New Zealand, Austria, and Vietnam. I believe we have 3 newcomers into the World Cup, into the Taiko World Cup this year. One team actually being a first-timer in the World Cup, who is Costa Rica.
So yeah, it's always nice to see new faces in the tournament scene. Anyway, I think we're gonna spin the wheel.
Yeah, and city, like first wheel doesn't matter much. We have Switzerland coming first, with a roster which has tweaked a bit, composed of MC2BP as a captain, 01519, and Upgrade Ford. If I had to say something about this team, I would say that they are lacking Neroi. That was a really good team last year, and now it's all down to MC2BP, a really good hard rock player. They're probably gonna lack some hidden, but I believe it will come down to Upgrade Ford, a new upcoming player in the Switzerland scene, which I'm kind of expecting to see what he can actually pull out in the TWC for the first time.
All right, on to Group B. We've got Costa Rica. So they are the newcomers. So first time in the World Cup. Team captain Puigela, hope I'm pronouncing that right. Joined by teammates Hotman and Jost RC3. So some of the players have a few tournament experience, but I think there are quite a few underrated players there. Looking forward to see how they do. Moving on to
the third group, Group C now, for the unseeded. Gonna have Vietnam, another newcomer. Actually, first time in the Taiko World Cup. Pretty sure they played in every single of the game mode. But surprisingly, a 4-player team as a newcomer, composed by David Min, 0111 as captain, Coroni, Buns, and Sarah Soul. I have no much info on them regarding Taiko, but I believe Coroni is the one which will have a pretty big task, since he's a 3-digit, the only 3-digit in the team, the highest ranked player in Vietnam. So looking forward how they do and how their group is composed of.
All right, Group D. Turkey, Fruko, my boy. He's finally made it to the World Cup, and he's joined by Neural G. This is a 2-man roster. Very tough situation there, having only 2 players. Got to shoulder a lot of responsibility. But very interested to see how they do. I think it's all eyes on Neural G, whether he can keep it with Fruko. He's a very prominent accuracy player. Very excited to see how they do. I think probably out of the low seed, they may have a pretty solid chance of getting out of the group stage, I think.
Yeah, it all depends on who they go against. And moving on to Group D, New Zealand. The team composed by Spars and actually 2 newcomers. Bua coming again, Blue Jay and Ale. Some of these are pretty well-known names in beginners tournament. I believe Blue Jay actually started playing taiko in 2020. So looking forward to see how these two players add to a team as strong and hidden as New Zealand, especially Spas.
Group F, we've got Austria. Austria is led by team captain Anime X Amara and joined by taiko PP Dev extraordinaire Morth1, Mina_Yo, and Cupcake Lover. So I think Austria hasn't played since 2012. Is that correct, Matt?
No, it isn't. They played last year, pretty sure, but I think the same roster actually, or really similar roster. So I'm not really sure what to expect out of this team. We'll see. Oh, they have two players actually, two new players, Mina_Yo and Cupcake Lover. So looking forward to see what they do this year. Last two groups. We have Colombia. And Colombia actually, after coming as a newcomer last year, for the first time ever in TWC with a two-man team, they have a 5-player roster with Stee, Light as a captain, Matri, Hermite, and Jakuru. All new faces for Colombia, although Stee is quite the old player already. But Light has been shining in the tournament scene, and I believe he has quite the future ahead of himself.
And finally, with Group H, we've got Chile, led by team captain Catulus, joined by Daikyu, Shiny Froakie, Cherry, and Necromancy. It's a fairly similar team to the 2020 roster. Few changes here and there, I think, with Cherry and Necromancy. Pretty all-rounded roster there. I think Catulus is quite strong with hidden. But yeah.
Yeah, the only big loss there is Miku, who is a really experienced player and was captain last year. So we'll see how Catalyst manages the captaincy. Moving on to the low seeds, we have Russian Federation, Finland, China, Poland, Portugal, Netherlands, Australia, and Mexico. And moving on to Group A, we have Portugal. The team that actually finally changes their roster. They had the same roster 3 years in a row. Composed by Baby Snakes, Shinsui, Meowcat, Nitro, and Ninja Story 3. Looking forward to see how Nitro and Ninja Story contributed to this Portuguese team. They're going to be facing against Switzerland for now.
Right, Group B sees the Russian Federation join. We've got team captain Akonine, Den4, I don't know how to pronounce that, Den4IK228, Nozdormu 20, and Nightflower. I think they're missing a few key players from this country, Vav, I think.
Yeah, they are. They have a whole new roster. 5 players are new to the World Cups. And although I've been told Nightflower is quite a good player, and Akonine has been playing some tournaments already, they are missing some really key players like Voincom, like Dayseek, and Naninov, for example. So looking forward to see how this team develops.
Anyway, before we move on to Group C, I'm going to take my leave here and let Incandescence take over because I got to do a bit of prep for the Mappool showcase. So I will see you all in about, hopefully, half an hour. But Incandescence.
Yes, hello.
Hello there. How's it going?
Hi. I had a technical difficulty with my alarm, so I'm a few minutes late.
Oh yeah, it happens. Don't worry. You haven't missed much.
Yes, please feel free to fill me in on what I've missed.
Yeah, you've only missed some of the unseeded and low seed teams. We've went through each and one of them, and now we have Group C, Netherlands, facing against Vietnam. A team composed by Cookie Tree, Strig, Heiser, however that's pronounced, Boaz, Lukitsa, and Wen 294. Really interesting team as Boaz, Lukitsa, and Wen step up for the first time in the Taiko World Cup. Actually, Boaz and Lukitsa they were beginners in 2020, so coming all the way to playing Taiko World Cup a year afterwards is really exciting.
Well, whenever you talk about these kinds of teams like the Netherlands, it's always nice to see these kinds of teams continue to show up, because I'm pretty sure, you can correct me if I'm wrong, 2020 was their first appearance in TWC.
It wasn't.
It was not.
It was not. Remember Fion, for example. They had a lot of rosters on the past few years. 2018 was the first time after like a 4-year hiatus. But that's all.
I must be thinking of Denmark. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. Not even relevant. But I was thinking because of one of my friends there. But let's consider the country Poland.
Yeah, Poland going up ahead against Turkey. The scariest, lowest unseeded team, in my opinion. Poland,
Turkey is quite a roster, but we're not talking about them.
Oh god, yeah. Poland, actually, first time Akrith isn't playing in the Polish team, and many Polish faces banishing Akrith, Dogstorm, Creepy Dog, Michał Goku. None of them is playing, but Bernard. And a whole new roster for them, except of Tetsuya and Bernard, Evolution, Ethereal. We have Boyan as well. So looking forward to see how this Polish team manages in this Group D. I have China being the low seed of Group E with New Zealand. China, really interesting case because they had a really good counterpart in 3D Taiko World Cup. They actually won the whole thing last week, actually, and now they're missing a lot of their key players. Super Triple S isn't playing, New Beginning isn't playing, SZH isn't playing, so Shokan isn't playing. Only Blastix Riot's a really good hard rock player, alongside Okura, Puige, Otakus Rin, and Mike Aloni, who recently changed his flag from Macau to China. So looking for how they do as low seed. Moving on, we have Australia. Austria being the unseeded. Australia losing some key players, being, I believe, Solid Error and Acid, but also getting Sip, Win, and Amateur Monkey. Richie coming back to Bass as well, beat 43210 with his first captaincy, so we'll see how that goes. And especially against Austria, team who also has new players. I think that the most important thing about this team is probably Richie. Really underrated player that is really good at hard rock. So if someone can keep up with him, I believe Australia has a chance depending on which high seed they get. And not the last group, but almost there. Group G. We have Mexico, so Latin battle. Colombia against Mexico. Interesting matchup. And talking about Mexico, we have Ami, Savory, Extreme, Chocoflan, and Carrot, and Kenrich San. Similar situation to what happened with the Chinese. Their counterpart in 3D Taiko World Cup was much better. They're lacking some really important players, especially Yuki. Really good player that can be really consistent. But regarding Taiko World Cup, last year, Ayochi was key player for Mexico, really good hard work player. But still, they don't have those. They gotta manage either way, so looking forward to seeing them play in Group G. And now we only have one team for last group, which is Finland. Yeah, Radiant, Incan won't talk for a bit until he sets up, so I'll be covering everything left. Finland being the last low seed, playing against Chile. Finland, what good players has Finland? What amount of good players they have managed to get through the years. Now having 2 newcomers with only a 4-member team. That's actually surprising. Antti and Mega Mela. Mega Mela recently winning Suichi Winter Edition. A really good player alongside Dusky. The only curious thing about this team is that they, like in the Dusky era, you could say, from 2017 onwards, they have never gotten out of group stage. Not even once. I believe Vananen is going to be key player for Finland here with his Hin Harag as we move towards the high seeds. Oh my god, this is getting interesting. Malaysia, Singapore, United Kingdom, Taiwan, Indonesia, Thailand, Philippines, and France. And this is where group starts to get spicy.
Okay, I have everything set up now, and I actually have a lot of comments I want to make about these groups, but we'll go into them as we continue to do the drawings. Group A, we're gonna have United Kingdom facing Portugal and Switzerland. The United Kingdom has a number of roster changes this year. They had an amazing run last year. Third place, I'm not too keen on extremely early TWC history, but I believe that was their first time placing in the top 3.
Correct, yeah.
But they have a number of roster changes since Mango Miser is, doing some more backstage things this year. He's not on the United Kingdom roster. Horizon is still there. Dusk is still there.
Yeah, but no Mango Higi. That's the big issue.
Mango and Gohigi are both gone, right? Yeah,
correct.
I'm blind. So they're going to have a much tougher time without those two. The current roster is very talented, but Gohigi and Mango were revered by many in the entire world as being very strong. The roster they have this year is very strong. I believe that they will still go very far, but it definitely will be harder for them this year without having Mango or Gohigi.
I believe it will come down to some of the really important players like Dusk or Horizon. Although Botched and Daniels are coming out in as the newcomers in the United Kingdom, I believe their group isn't that bad. Switzerland and Portugal are in particularly the best low seeds and unseeded teams. Not to underestimate them though. So moving on to Group B now. We're having Philippines. Really interesting team here, composed by Pochaco as the captain. Rimasi coming back after 2019 TWC. Shme once again. Ayeri and Finby, pretty similar teams last year. Only no newcomers in this team. This team is a really solid team who will face against Russia and Costa Rica in Group B. And all in all, we've seen, if you watch 3-Days Taiko World Cup, they are really capable of playing the early stages pretty well. So I'm looking forward to see how the Philippines develops here as they face a potential interesting top seed and Russia and Costa Rica.
Yeah, Russia's always been an interesting team to watch. So that's going to be fun to see against the Philippines.
Yeah, still.
Singapore.
Oof.
Singapore is going to be going against the Netherlands in Vietnam. So they're the second best high seed, right behind Malaysia. Malaysia's the team I really wanted to talk about because I'm really excited about Malaysia this year. But we'll hold that off until we see where they get drawn. Singapore is an extremely scary team. You have Blararg. Blararg is quite the tournament player. He's made a number of appearances in tournaments, and he is quite the player. He's been, I guess, feared, I suppose, for his extremely high skill on this game. So I expect a lot of things from Singapore. You have Sechi, Prehistoria, Odyssey22, and _GT. Odyssey started playing in 2020, so he's more of a relatively new player to the scene, but I think Singapore has a number of of interesting players and potential, a very high potential. So I'm actually really interested to see where Singapore goes this year.
Correct. I want to remark something that it's actually pretty certain. I'd say it's not the first time they're playing together. They won AGTS 2020 with Team Singapore against China, so they already know each other. And as you well said, really looking forward to see them play here in TWC. And now moving on to Group D, Thailand. There we go. Really hyped up for Thailand this year, being their second ever appearance in the Taiko World Cup, last time being 2013. And actually with a 5-player roster composed by Panamis, Koni-san, Raitoli, Phoenix, and Cappuccino. This high seed is so interesting because in early stage, they're probably going to do really well. Raitoli and Panamis play extremely well in 3H Taiko World Cup, getting to top 12 in the entire tournament. So I'm expecting a lot of things of this team, but look at the groups that they've got. And Turkey, definitely the worst, the worst in terms of what you can get. So the best unseeded team, and Poland. So we'll see what happens with Group D. So we only have 4 teams left.
France. France is quite a changer this year. I mean, the biggest roster change we have to consider this year is that France is playing without Timmy Ahmed and without Yona. So those are 2 of France's biggest players that are missing. Timmy Ahmed was a huge hard rock carry for them. He had a unique playstyle of DK, and without Yona as well, Yona was the French speed carry. So overall, with those nerfs, I mean, we're also missing Banana. So we have 60% of the original French team is gone. So we're having an extremely new scene here. But we have Fralinch, Akoro, Atomic, Gintaki 8, and Ranchi. So although we're not seeing what we're usually seeing with France, I do have faith in this team. I think they have a lot of potential as well. And it's going to be interesting to see where they go without many of their main players. I'm very interested to see what happens without Timmy Ahmed specifically.
Yeah, correct. Only 2 newcomers though. Frau Link, I think this is an interesting info. Frau Link coming back after 6 years. Last TWC played was 2015. He got 3rd place with France that year. Also Ekaro coming back, he will said it. And Gintoki and Renshi coming for the first time. Interesting roster by France, but now moving on, and we have Taiwan in Group F. One of the teams that got extremely nerfed this year. Without Ishida, without S2, without all the players you know. We have Monkey D. Luffy, Yue Miao, Cheese Stingy, Sean Happy, and a name I can't pronounce, but it's a lot of numbers. B006, we'll call it like that. 3 new faces, well 4 new faces actually, with Yu Miao also stepping in. I believe this team will depend a lot on their duo. Monkey Luffy and Yu Miao are gonna have a lot of weight on their shoulders because they're probably gonna play most of the stuff. Still, the other players shouldn't be undermined. They are new to the scene. I haven't seen them anywhere else, but I'm looking forward to see them play because some of them are new to Taiko as well. They've been improving a lot. But coming back to Yu Miao, really experienced tournament player. She shined in some community tournaments as EGTS, maybe not getting that far, but showing up really good performances. So looking forward to see how Taiwan develops this year as well.
Yeah, Taiwan is quite the team because, if you look at TWC history, you almost always see Japan first, Taiwan second. Last year was by far a huge shocker for a lot of us. Taiwan did not place top 3, and for them to be moved to high seed this year, it's crazy. I mean, Taiwan is full of many capable and skilled players, but they have all fallen inactive and they've moved on to other better rhythm games and other better things in their lives, I suppose. But you know, I'm always gonna have a special place for Taiwan in my heart as the #1 Japan competitor, even if they're having a number of roster changes. So I'm always gonna be rooting for Taiwan. So now we are looking at Indonesia with Group G. Unfortunately, I was not able to hype up Mexico because I'm Mexican because of my technical difficulties, but I'll have to take that loss. But Indonesia, we're having White Snow Angel. I almost said WSA, but I want to make sure I get that out of the way. Comes back after 3 years. You After you have a long hiatus like that, I mean, the only thing I can compare it to is just because we're coming off of Taiwan, the Ping hiatus. So it's going to be interesting to see where Indonesia goes with one of their common additions. I see Volta is also on the roster. They're also very capable of a player. I mean, many of you may know them on the beatmap nomination side of things. But I think overall Indonesia has a pretty good potential here. You know, Apaja is on their roster and he's very good at hidden. And in general, he's a very consistent player. So, you know, it's really going to come down to how they fare against Mexico, I think specifically, and the specific top seed that they get matched with. So, you know, there's a lot of potential for Indonesia to do well going forward, but it is dependent on a few variables that are not in their control.
I want to mention something before we get to Malaysia in last group, is that Indonesia has a player coming from restriction, just Cat Don Cat. I've been told he's really good, so I'm looking forward to see how Cat Don Cat manages in the Taiko World Cup. And we are having last group, the highest high seed in terms of rank. Malaysia will be facing Chile and Finland. And Finland, Malaysia, oh my god, that's already going to be hype. Malaysia is, you could say, some could say, the strongest high seed. They did really well in Finnish Taiko World Cup. They ended up third in the whole thing with Jerry, Celtic rival, Seth, Vanilla Ice, and Gitcha. Really, really good roster. They, with Jerry coming back, being TWC 2018, his last TWC. Same with Seth, 2019. They have their full roster now, and I believe they can do great this year.
Yeah, I have to say Malaysia is one of those teams that I've really had my eye on this year. I mean, immediately when the roster was posted on Twitter, I mean, I was extremely excited for this team. You know, Malaysia is not necessarily a team that most people consider to be like a huge threat on the scene, and I think this year, regardless of their placement as a high seed, this is a team you want to treat as a top seed. I think every single team that we have right in front of us now with the top seeds, I think they should be very scared of Malaysia. I think they deserve that reputation currently, and I really hope that they go far this year.
I'm going to go over the top seeds now. Japan, South Korea, Italy, Brazil, United States, Canada, Argentina, and Germany. Oh my god, the amount of good teams we have here. And that last group is going to be the most difficult group, I'm calling that. Finland is rival to fear as well. So we'll go with Group A. It's Brazil. We're going to have Brazil against the United Kingdom, Portugal, and Switzerland. The Portuguese battle is real as well. This roster from Brazil is just peak. Skull Kid, Pipus, Hirok, Foxer, and Kiyama, one of the contenders for the batch, depending on how the bracket turns out to be. Really, really strong team. And with all the nerfs, you could say, that happened this year with Taiwan, with Poland, with no Spain, and so forth, I'm looking forward to seeing them play, and especially in this group against the United Kingdom.
You know, Brazil, I think before the TWC preparation started, I've had some time to discuss where we think this year's going with the top 3. I honestly think Brazil has a pretty good chance to end up in the top 3. Their roster is extremely strong. They perform very well generally. And speaking even just on the tournaments that I host, the South American Taiko tournament, Hiroke and Skull Kid both placed 2nd and 3rd. They're both really strong players. I think Brazil overall is an extremely strong roster. I think they have a very high chance to place top 3 this year.
It'll depend on the bracket. Group B against Philippines, Russia, Costa Rica, Argentina it is. They are, for the first time ever, top seed. And I believe this is probably going to be their best roster ever, with Gaston, Axer, Refical, better known as Midnight, Trollacat, and Doodle stepping up for the first time. They're going to be facing Costa Rica, Russia, and Philippines. They faced Philippines a couple weeks back, actually, in the 3D Taiko World Cup. So looking forward to see how they develop here. And also, they have never gone out of groups since 2018, I believe. And they never got past quarterfinals. So looking forward to see how this year develops, as they have a stronger roster and more people to count on.
I think it's only fair that I have to take the United States, right? The United States is quite the team. It has quite the history that I will not go into. But this year we have a number of roster changes. We have Loopy and Cheese Salad returning. We have 3-Son returning as well, but we do not see Electro or Hoopweed this year. They have been replaced by the newcomers of Churochev and RJ. Both of these players are very solid. They have climbed the ranks extremely fast in the past year. And honestly, this roster is very solid for the United States. I have very high expectations that they will go quite far. Last year, they had a rougher run. They got into a not so great matchup bracket-wise after the group stage. They ended up getting eliminated quite early. But this year, hopefully, they're going to take it a lot further than they did last year. And who knows, maybe the United States will finally place in Taiko for once.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. Such a good roster. But now moving on to with Group D, where it could potentially be another oh my god, it's Canada. Another contender. Another team with a lot of experience on their shoulders, with Nanners coming back as a captain. This janitor playing once again for his 7th time. Same with Nanners. Visha in his 6th time. Barry and Honkers, the only and one newcomer. Good in Nomad, I believe. This team has a lot of potential. Same with Brazil. Same with United States. And a team that can definitely get to top 3 if the bracket favors them. Janitor, what to say about him? He's a beast in tournaments. He's the best Western player by far. Not only winning Incan's tournament like 4 times already, but also getting 2nd in each ETS 2020, losing against Wone, but it's Wone. So, such interesting matchup though against Thailand, Poland, and Turkey. 2nd spot here is gonna be pretty tough. Looking forward to see that Thailand versus Turkey matchup, and Poland in between trying to get a winner too.
I just want to say real quick, I thoroughly enjoy how the chat is just really focused on where Japan is gonna go.
Oh my god.
Italy. Okay. So Italy is, first of all, Italy has always been quite the team to look at. And when I know that sounds so generic in English words, and I say English words because I don't forget it. They're always quite a team. The two most iconic Italian players, you have Ikun and Deku, but they are joined by extremely strong players this year. They're joined by Coed, joined by Lord Ender. They're joined by A40. A40 is an extremely strong player. They've come up very fast. So I have extremely high expectations for Italy this year. I think they're going to do really strong with this roster. It's no longer just the Ikun Deku carry. They have a full 5-team carry of beasts at Taiko. So I really think that Italy's going to do well in their group against France and China and the New Zealand. So I think they're going to do well in their groups. I think they're going to do pretty good going forward round of 16 onwards.
Yeah, I agree with you. I have to remark, though, that despite this being the same team, it's 100 times better. A40 and Lord Ender improved a lot in the past year, and as you well said, we have 5 beasts in one team. They made it to finals last year. I believe they lost against Taiwan, a really strong Taiwan. So now, without that strong Taiwan, looking forward to them play. And look, the final 3 teams. Group F against Taiwan, Australia, and Austria is the one and only Germany. And what a roster they have this year. Despite not having Cetera, really, really good player. It's Sei and Mew once again together. They didn't play together since 2017, which was 3 versus 3. So this is going to impact a lot into a Germany team. It will be composed of Seiphone, Mew, F-Bar, Set, and 2 newcomers, who are X Martin and Minekuchi. Looking forward to this team as it's overall pretty good and another contender, I would say, for the top 4 at least.
Everyone was hoping Japan would be in Group F so that they could face off against Taiwan. Sorry to disappoint you guys. South Korea. So I was just about to make a comment about Japan and South Korea. They faced off in the grand finals last year of Taiko World Cup, and South Korea has been it's been the new age Taiwan. They've been very strong over the past few years, but this year there is a number of disadvantages, I would say, that they're actually facing. There is no Applers and there's no Konpaku Sariel. So those are 2 major roster changes that they're going to have to navigate. But they still have Peaceful, and Peaceful is very, very consistent of a player. He can play hidden, and he can play mods. He knows his way around the mods in this game very, very nicely. And so, although South Korea is generally the number 1 Japan contender, they are definitely facing a few more challenges this year with their roster changes. So I'm scared for Taiwan or South Korea a little bit, but I have extremely high faith that they'll continue to do well.
Yeah, I agree with you. As we see Japan into that death group, and before I comment that, I also want to say that also Bamgoe is missing. We don't have Bamgoe. South Korea, a team that, despite they finished second place in 3H Taiko World Cup last week, they lost against China 7-5, and despite having a single player from that team, including Jackets, they have Olo, a newcomer, really good hard rock player. He played extremely well in AGTS, and after it finished, he immediately ranked up almost a 2-digit. So that team is going to be really scary in hard rock. I believe Hi Henry is a really good DT player, so I'm curious to see how that turns out. And coming to last group, I mean, we already saw it. It's Japan as a top seed. Group H is not gonna be contending for the first place, probably, but we'll see, because Malaysia is a really strong team. So I'm looking forward to see how Malaysia plays against Japan. Finland, though, is not in a good spot. After not passing groups for a couple of years already, they have this group not easy. They need to win against Malaysia or Japan, which is almost impossible, but you never know. Still, with all groups done, what are your final thoughts, Inken?
I think we are looking at a pretty interesting starting point for the Taiko World Cup. I think what I was going to mention is one of the most interesting matchups we're going to see in the group stage is Malaysia versus Japan, as you went over a little bit. But the reason I'm extremely interested in that is because what you have to remember is, although Japan is an extremely strong team, so strong that they've won, so many Taiko World Cups. I don't have the exact number, but they are by far the reigning champion and have been for many years. But you have to consider is that we're at the group stage, so Malaysia, a very strong team, Japan, a very strong team, are playing at a relatively introductory level, World Cup speaking. So they're all on fair ground. They're not playing anything that's extremely difficult just yet. So it's really, I think what's going to be interesting is to see Malaysia and Japan face off in this environment where the maps are fairly simple for every single one of the players on both teams. I think that's going to lead to some really interesting 2-on-2s when we see the match. But I think every group on the screen is really interesting. I mean, I can't think of a better way to start off the Taiko World Cup other than Japan being in Taiwan. That'd be insane. But overall, I mean, I think this is a great place for us to start. I think there's going to be some really exciting matchups, and I'm interested to see what happens after the group stage.
Oh, me too, of course. I'm probably going to highlight some groups in particular. All of them look promising, but some more than others. Group H is definitely the one to be aware of. Also, Group E, France and China. I wouldn't say France has that second spot secured, because China, despite not having their best roster, they have a really good chance of going through round of 16. Group D is probably going to be really interesting a bit because of Turkey, Poland, Thailand being pretty close, although Thailand is a bit above the rest, but still really interesting group stage overall, and looking forward to this Taiko World Cup.
I think with that, we will be transitioning into the group stage Mappool showcase.
Correct. Yeah.
So we're gonna have to do a transition as per usual. Generally, though, very interesting showcase. Very interesting drawings, and that's it for me for now. And I think VAF will be signing off as well for now.
Correct. Yeah.
So we hope you enjoy the Mappool showcase that me and other poolers have so carefully put together. And I will see you in the group stage matches. So I'll see you next week.
We'll see you, everyone. Bye-bye.
It's pooling time. It's pool time. I'm excited.
I am too.
Group stage pool is always a highlight for me.
All right. So I guess we're just gonna kick it off then, right?
Oh, I never introduced you, did I?
No.
So yeah, so we got Mr. Boo here and Mango
Hello.
Meister, myself. Yes. I think we can just get started then. So first map of the pool, No Mod 1, we have... Is it? I think it's loading. There we go. We have Anomaly by Noisia, one of our featured artists. Difficulty insane. This is a loved map. So fairly well known. This is the tech pick of the map and very high accuracy requirement, I would say. Mr. Boo, do you know this map?
Me personally, no, I have not seen this map. But I do know Noisia fairly well, and I think typical Noisia style songs, I think if you follow the song fairly well, it can make for some pretty decent tech. And
Yeah,
kind
so-
of seeing that here with pretty erratic snapping.
Yeah, just a bit of background. So this was the winner of the Taiko Japanese Beatmatic Contest, Light Edition, I believe, the first one. So yeah, as you said, weird snappings, mostly 1/3 plus 1/4, and occasional 1/6 patterns.
Right. Yeah, again, seeing a lot of really interesting spacing between notes with fairly erratic snapping, a lot of fun patterning as well. Some doublet patterns, 1/6, although fairly intuitive and flows quite well, is something that I do kind of like. A little bit of 1/8 there as well. And also noticing, although pretty short, a couple of sliders where potentially you could see a couple of missed ticks.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to mostly come down to accuracy, actually.
Yeah,
But we'll just see. You never know. Group stage is a very volatile environment.
absolutely. Oh, that little pattern there was a little bit spicy. Okay, now I think so far the rest of the map has definitely seemed a little bit more consistent, although we're going back to that more erratic snapping. As I say that,
Very interested to see what kind of accuracies we'll get. Obviously, we have N-Wolf here, best player of all time, getting an SS on this. But very interested to see what players will be able to do in the matches on this one.
yeah.
Moving on to No Mod 2. Do you want to take this one?
Oh, I love this map. I mean, it's an in-can map. Most Taiko players are quite familiar with incandescent style of mapping. Pretty good for a consistency pick. Seems pretty tame, all things considered. I mean, you do have that section right there with quite a few finishers, but for the most part, patterning on the song relatively simple and straightforward. You're just gonna see mainly, I wouldn't necessarily say isolated 1/6, but there is that really long pattern with some pretty tricky patterning there. I think that's going to test a couple of players' abilities to consistently play those kinds of streams at 212 BPM.
Yeah, just another word from our sponsors here. We have just yet another featured artist. That's Morimori Yatsushi. Gotta plug them in. But yeah, lots of long streams in this one. Quite tricky. Personally, I think this is probably the most difficult map in the pool, I would say, in terms of just raw difficulty. It's
Yeah.
very demanding at 212 and OD7 as well, no less.
Yeah. Definitely a real test of accuracy for a lot of players. Seeing, I mean, 1-4, 1-3, these sorts of long streaming patterns that aren't necessarily forgiving either, and all the while those interspersed 1-6s could definitely lead to some unfortunate 100s. But overall, I mean, the SV seems relatively tame, although it does change. Pretty solid for consistency. And with that, I think we should move on.
Right, moving on to our first custom map in the pool. Right, sort of a new addition in the whole TWC map pooling process, which I'll talk at more about at length later. We've got Lilith by Beatmap by Nwolf, also played by Nwolf. This is the speed pick of this stage at 270 BPM. It is the spiritual successor to Del Rio from TWC 2019 group stage. But instead of having sort of 1/3, this one has a bit of a different sort of addition in terms of having low SV and sliders. And also it's a featured artist map as well. So it's Aitsuki Nakuru. So
I believe so far, all three nomads that we've been able to debut so far have all been featured artists.
3 for 3.
Yeah, 3 for 3. But yeah, so I mean, kind of looking at it, seems relatively straightforward for a speed pick. I was kind of excited to see what would happen with like the lower SV sections, but it seems all around more tame than I guess I had initially sort of pictured for this custom map.
Look, it's only group stage. We're not trying to kill players here. We originally, I will say that because it was custom, it went through many revisions, and some of the earlier lower SV sections, it was like even lower SV, and at that point we were saying like this is actually more of a low SV map than it is a speed map, so we needed to tweak it a bit.
Yeah. I mean, I can definitely imagine. I mean, at some point, with low enough SV, you're just going to get. It's going to kind of take away from the whole point of the pick. But I mean, for 270, yeah, this is definitely a good introduction to what we'll probably see in the future from the pools for a speed pick like this.
Yeah, 270 tends to be a bit of a safe benchmark for speed. Patterns aren't too difficult as well, so
Yeah,
very
seems-
friendly on the hands.
Right, yeah, I was about to say very intuitive and kind of flows very well. I think it's going to be not too difficult for either play style.
That being said, some of the finishers are placed in a few tricky locations, so you might accidentally choke while trying to hit the finishers, so you got to be careful there.
Yeah, and I mean, this is also OD 6.5, which, I mean, haven't seen too many speed picks going above 6.5, but normally, like introductory speed picks, I normally see it around 6 stars, so seeing a 6.5 one might prove interesting for some players who aren't necessarily comfortable acking at this BPM.
We have a
Right.
question from the Twitch chat. What's a finisher? Finishers are big notes. Moving on to No Mod 4, we have the gimmick map with a very interesting background, I would say.
Yeah, what a background. Alright.
You want to take this one?
To be honest, I have no clue what I'm
Well,
gonna be expecting.
we'll get your live reaction here. This is the gimmick map.
Okay.
Parasite.
I do
Also-
love me my gimmick maps. I'll say that.
Yeah, this is yet another custom map, mapped by ISOC, so it's by a featured artist. Again, so we're 4 for 4. This one features sort of barline infinite BPM gimmicks.
Yeah, I do notice. Okay.
So on every bar line is a Dawn.
Right.
Beat.
And so, and they're not finishers, right? Because I
not
did
finishers.
notice that a lot of the speed SV at that very very beginning were all finishers, but. Okay, so the bar lines, and now the bar lines are detached from the SV
Yeah,
of the rest of the
it
notes.
does ramp up. It does ramp up. But you don't have to suffer for too long.
Okay. Alright, some detached SV, a little bit streaming.
So it's the shortest map in the pool, actually, clocking in at only 1 minute 41.
Okay.
So, yeah, that's Parasite for you.
Not too much of a big practicer, I suppose. It could have been a lot worse. Alright, I guess we're moving on to the hidden picks now. Which, would you say that this one kind of just the more diverse pick?
Yeah, it's sort of semi-tech. It's got a bit of everything. It's very similar to Igamoyo's from 2019, actually. It's just got a bit of everything. So it's a map by Hero K, a few edits.
Now, as a hidden main myself, so far, this definitely seems like this is just going to be one of those hidden picks that more tests your ability to play more challenging maps and sort of have hidden on and kind of not really care too much about it.
Yeah, can I just say Ukiyo-e is like such a good song?
Oh, absolutely. Alright, a couple of fairly intuitive 1-6 patterning that really shouldn't trip up too many people, especially, like, even though there is hidden. And the patterning also seems very intuitive as well, even though that 1-3 section was a little bit spicy, I'd say.
Yeah, there are quite a few snapping changes throughout this one.
I mean, yeah, I can definitely see the snapping changes might give some players some act troubles, especially with hidden, but patterning completely on its own, I don't see too many issues here. And I think that's a boon, especially considering, this is only group stage.
Oh, and the last K triplet, that's a bit of an evil one. So if a match isn't decided by then we got the triplet at the end to trip you out. Okay, oh boy, I want to talk about Hidden too. Now this is potentially the most controversial pick in the pool, I think.
You were certainly hyping this up beforehand.
Yeah, I know, right? This is the 20 BPM hidden, or allegedly 20 BPM hidden, but no, it's not actually 20 BPM. So this is a Reincarnation by Street, mapped by Airy, another featured artist map. So this is 120 BPM, but it's actually not slow hidden. I wouldn't even call this slow hidden because it's actually quite comfortable to read, and it picks up quite quickly. And it's an SV map rather than a low BPM map.
Yeah,
Low,
you can definitely
low
start to see that. Yeah, those finishers do seem a little evil.
You have to be very careful in this map because it's OD6 at such a low BPM. Accuracy is very important.
Right. But yeah, no, definitely, as you said, the SV is really comfortable, even at the beginning, where it seemed to be at one of its slowest points.
And then here we transition into speed section with finishers.
Oh, I can definitely see some minor mistakes potentially being made in this particular section.
And then we have the ending.
Coming back to some of that detached SV finishers. Getting real fast now. Still readable though.
Yeah, this is completely unreadable, but it's just KDD, 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 KDD.
Yeah, with the pattern repeating like...
Yeah.
Yeah, with the pattern repeating like this, it's all just about keeping time. Congratulations, Enwolf, for another double S.
Yeah, this one I'm expecting people to have misses. I
Yeah.
expect people to miss on this one. This one's probably gonna decide. It's
Alright.
gonna be an upset point, I think.
Moving on to Hard Rock 1, I believe, or Libertas. Another featured artist map, Zek. And honestly, a very fun map. So I'm seeing... Probably gonna be testing, like, how well you can read HR as the mod with different SV.
Yeah, it's got smooth SV and some mix snaps. It's the tech pick with smooth SV rolled in. With a few bursts here and there as well, like that one.
Yeah. Alternating Dun Cat 1-6 burst. Very interesting. I wonder if any player is going to have trouble acking that.
Well, it's OD6 with HR, so it's OD 8.4, so high but not that high. So
Right.
It's possible to, maintain good act. It's not impossible.
Yeah, it's not like you're completely destroying players with OD 9.8 or something.
Not yet, we aren't. Yeah, but this is
Okay.
such a good song.
Absolutely. Yeah, very intuitive patterning. Something that I don't think the patterning is really going to be tripping up any player. It's really just more of a comfort test.
And that's Libertas.
And Hard Rock 2. So now I'm noticing, I mean, if we've had more of a comfort sort of tech SV pick from Hard Rock 1, this is probably going to be the accuracy pick. And yeah, it does look like that with an OD of 9.1. And some very nice introductory streams as well.
Yeah, I'd say this is more of a... So this is Cutie Ladies by super long artist name. Mapped by Kawaii Base. So this one, yeah, you're right, it is the accuracy pick, but I also like to think that this is more of a comfort hard rock, because it's not... 200 BPM hard rock isn't too demanding, I think.
Yeah.
And it's just... You play the patterns and get the best accuracy that you can. Patterns are very straightforward.
Yeah, and that's definitely what we're seeing here. I mean, a couple of doublets, but honestly nothing out of the ordinary for players of this caliber. Yeah, this definitely seems like kind of almost like an OD challenge, more or less. And even though it's only OD 9.1, this is definitely just testing players on how comfortable they can be reading, relatively dense 200 BPM maps with higher OD, just to have stable and consistent URs.
Pretty much. There's nothing more to say about this song, so I guess we'll just enjoy the music here.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this map honestly kind of reminds me of MMZZ's Verflucht map on HR. Very, very similar style of mapping. Longer patterns, but nothing out of the ordinary. But that high OD with HR just pretty much makes it a test of how low you can keep your UR number.
It's a bit on the longer side though. It's 3 minutes, just over 3 minutes.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. That is a little bit of a difference there. Real quick, you did mention earlier about that custom mapping process, and we saw 2 of them already. Is there anything in particular that you wanted to let anyone know about that?
Well, with regards to custom mapping, the number 1 rule is that obviously participants don't get to custom map, because that would just be unfair, right?
Absolutely,
so,
yeah.
But yeah, we sort of just basically, we feel that at certain levels of tournament play, there are just certain niches that we can't find in sort of the regular rank section, in a sense, and we feel it's more fair for tournament players to have something that dedicates fully to one skill set and it tailors it well.
Very true. All right, we're moving on to DT.
Tross, can you turn the music up for this one? This was such a good map. This is the best map. Honestly, this is the best map in the group stage, in my opinion. This is a custom map by AABC. The story about this map is quite... right. So this is Chariot by... Is it Usao? I don't actually know how you pronounce it.
I just say Usao.
Usao, yeah. So this was quite funny, actually, because so we asked AABC to custom map this, and we actually wanted him to map a different song. But then he was kind of stubborn about it, and he mapped this anyway, and it turned out to be really good and exceeded all our expectations. So we just kept it because it was that good. This is our accuracy DT pick.
Okay. Definitely looks like that. And is that OD5 base that I see?
Yeah, it's OD5. So it's OD5. Okay. With DT, it's OD8.83. This lowered SV section is quite tricky.
Yeah. But nothing too out of the ordinary or too tricky for like a ACK/consistency based DT. Honestly, yeah, this really does look like a lot of fun.
This map slaps, honestly. It's so good.
Oh, in the shorter DT, I suppose. Oh, really, really nice, tasteful SV there. Well, it actually threw out. Patterning is very fun. I'd say the patterning on this map is a little bit more challenging than HR2, but still leads to some very fun and intuitive sort of playing.
I'll be very impressed if anyone can SS this in the match.
Alright.
Alright, moving on to DT2, we have Adtruck, Shijo Shugi Adtruck by Hololive Idol Project. So this is mapped by Mai Ing. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This one's a bit of a speedier DT, more consistency based, although this does feature a few odd patterns throughout, along with some 1/3. Oh yeah, this is sort of quite different. So this was part of a guested, but it's sort of a semi-custom map. We asked for a few edits, so this will be re-uploaded.
Okay. Yeah, because at first I thought this was a Jerry map set, right?
Yeah, it was part of a Jerry map set, you're right.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Definitely some interesting patterns there. The DD triple K and the kind of those just weird, almost offhand 5 patterns. At least they tend to trip me up when I'm least expecting it, so. Some doublets as well. Tasteful finishers, however. And now with the last third of the song, looks like we're probably going to get into the final climax here. Ooh, some 1-3 into a couple of finishers. Triplet patterning, 5, 4, and 2 patterns sort of interspersed there as well. Definitely a little bit challenging. I can see a lot of unfortunate mistakes from players, especially with nerves involved if this is picked in later stages, or I suppose later on in matches.
Yeah, there are a lot of color switches, which can
Right.
put players up, along with the weird 2-3 rhythms. Definitely one of the trickier maps to pull, I would say.
And so ends our double time picks. Next we move on to free mods, where we'll be seeing Nostalgic Lost Logic. Kind of a semi-tech pick. Got what? Some longer patterning, 1/6, and just kind of like, yeah, I would say what, semi-tech, right?
Yeah, it's just semi-tech. It's just 1/4 with occasional 1/6 sprinkled throughout, as you'll see. This one is fairly balanced for both mods. It's equally difficult for Hidden and Hard Rock, we believe.
Yeah, this seems like a very comfortable SV to slap either mod on, honestly. And if it keeps this sort of consistent SV without delving too much into random changes or going any slower or faster, then yeah, this definitely would be a really comfortable pick on either mod. Or even both.
Yeah, the rules regarding free mods haven't changed from last year, and that's no duplicate mods. So you can have Hidden Hard Rock or Hidden Hard Rock, but you cannot have both players playing Hidden Hard Rock at the same time. So hopefully with that, we'll see a lot of diverse mod combinations on maps like these.
Right. Very, very nice and simple. Those longer 15 or 13 note patterns, starting on almost like an offhanded pattern with DDDK, might be a little bit interesting to see for Hidden at the very least, but again, nothing too out of the ordinary. Very, very smooth and pretty in line for what we would expect for this kind of semi-tech. Very good map, actually.
Yeah, very consistent throughout. No real difficulty spikes, I would say. But moving on to 3 Mod 2, this one's a different beast entirely. This one's energy tricks. by KAH. This is a custom map by Fapita. And this is the anti-mod of the free mod pool. So it's equally difficult for hidden and hard rock. And God forgive, like don't play hidden hard rock on this. It's really hard. But yeah, it's 160 BPM. It's got 1/8 plus 1/4 patterns throughout, and it's got spoof SV. So yeah, it's got bits that are hard for hard rock, and it's got bits that are hard for hidden. Oh, this section's really tricky for hidden.
Yeah, I was definitely about to mention, this does not seem easy. Although the section that just immediately preceded that section seemed pretty tricky on hard rock, though.
Oh, there's the hard rock spike comes here.
Okay.
So this is, I think it's 1.4. I can't remember. So we're looking at something like 224 HR, possibly faster. Well, equivalent. 224
Right.
equivalent.
A little cheeky 1/8 there. I like it. Oh, makes its appearance once again as well, I see. I mean, at the very least, it seems like the map itself isn't necessarily what's going to prove difficult to players. It's hoping that what mod you do end up deciding to put on this, you are comfortable with.
Yeah, because with free mod, you have to pick a mod.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. It's more like force mod. Alright, moving on to free mod 3, where we see Rise Again by Equilibrium, an LZD map. Now I see that the diff name specifies TWC version. So is this a special edit?
It's just an edit, yeah. So the original version was had a lot of higher SVs, which made it unfair for HR. But the map is really good, and so we just flattened out the SV to make it viable for all the mods, all three of them. So this is the longest map in the pool, actually, bar tiebreaker. Clocking in at just under 4 minutes.
Oh wow.
This one is just streams. Like, streams are frequent, and there are patterns. Just 1/4, though.
Okay. And yeah, I mean, like, seeing that much, at least what I can assume might be a shorter pattern for what this map is. The patterning did seem a little bit strange, but not horrible. So...
I would certainly hope not.
I mean, horrible not in the literal sense, I would just say horrible, I guess, in a counterintuitive sense, where players would have to be a lot more focused mentally to make sure that they don't misread a pattern and note lock.
Yeah, we needed a little bit of metal in the pool.
Absolutely. Yeah, honestly, if there's anything that I'm thinking about watching this map, it's definitely seeing that this is probably the comfiest pick to play With 2 mods?
Yeah, I would
if it
think
were
so as
me.
well. Although some of the longer streams can be quite a bit of a strain on Hidden Hard Rock, I would say. And it's also very long, so it's...
Yeah, and I mean, clocking in at about, 3 minutes 49 seconds, that's kind of a test of focus, especially if you're playing with HDHR. But other than I believe some of the middle streams that had some very involved and fluid patterns, these patterns lead themselves to be very simple. Something that players, I mean, at 190 BPM should be relatively consistent with.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of the ideal BPM for free mod.
Yeah.
And with that, Enwolf has assessed the entirety of the group stage pool, including
Yay.
Tiebreaker, which is a custom map playing with Ruby by Niwashi. So Gohigi mapped a harder difficulty on this, the Inner Oni. So the star rating 6.61, so by far the hardest map in the pool, as it should be. We actually, for this map, we took a page out of TWC 2018 group stage with Goodbye Mr. Jack. We tried to make this quite similar in the sense that it would feature snaps of all kinds, and it would be very unfriendly if you tried to play with mods. So we're basically discouraging you from playing with mods because we don't want that, basically. Unless you're really good, I would not recommend you to play mods. And even then, like, you should not consider playing with mods because there are so many tricky sections in this map.
Yeah. I mean, already just seeing it before even the first quarter of the song has passed, I've seen quite a few choke points like that one. And yeah, I mean, if you play this with a mod, you are a braver soul than I.
Hey, don't let us dictate what you do. You do you.
Yeah, right.
All right, and we've reached this weird 1/3 transition section, and we go into super slow SV, which makes it super hard for hidden. So don't play with hidden.
Yes.
Slow SV streams, and then we pick up, and we start speeding up.
With longer patterning.
Yeah.
And now swapping up the snapping there with a couple of 1/6 patterns as well. Picks up with SV. Yeah, wow, this is significantly harder than anything we've seen. Man, those 1/6 bursts. Those are not friendly.
This is my favorite part of the song. That pattern, it's so satisfying to hit. It's so satisfying to hit. And then we have a spinner kind of gimmick. Good luck. Good luck trying to hit the spinner.
Jeez.
I'm expecting people to miss there.
Especially people who have not practiced this.
So you only have about 3 ticks to hit the spinner. So if you don't hit it, it's a miss. there are strategies you can develop to hit it with varying success. But yeah, and that's pretty much most of the map done. It builds up at the end with longer streams, but that's all the difficult sections out of the way.
Even those interspersed 1/8s in those longer patterns, at least they look really intuitive and fun to play. Like, whether you roll, full alt, semi-alt, it doesn't seem like this favors really to any playstyle.
And that's the group stage map pool.
All right. Any closing remarks?
There is one closing remark, actually. With regards to the custom maps, they actually haven't been uploaded yet, so we've kept them, obviously, unsubmitted because they're custom maps. So they will be submitted on shortly, within the next few hours, hopefully, as we tell the mappers to do that, essentially. So do not be alarmed if you cannot find the maps that we've just showcased. We will be uploading these very shortly. That's about it.
All right. Do you want to take the outro, or?
Very excited to see what's going to happen next week in the group stage. Lots of interesting matchups and an equally interesting map pool, if I do say so myself.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Hopefully we get to see everybody next weekend. Should be pretty awesome.
Oh, one more thing. I have to plug the Pick'ems as well. Halo Watcher is doing a Pick'ems, as is tradition at this point for all the World Cups. So go join that. I believe the link is being posted in the Twitch chat. And yeah, I think that's a wrap. So enjoy the rest of your weekend, and remember, rhythm is only a click away.
Drop it.